let's bring in Herman Cain. He's a Fox News contributor, former presidential candidate, former CEO of Godfather's Pizza. Good morning to you, Herman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So what do you make of the Democrats are throwing everything they can at Trump? They've labeled him a racist, a sexist, a liar. You got Howard Dean saying he's a cokehead. What's left for him?
Nothing. And my advice to Donald Trump would be ignore her with the name calling, because name calling is a desperate tactic. And I believe that they're continuing to do the name calling of Donald Trump. It's not going to convince people to not vote for Donald Trump. They are trying to generate enthusiasm on the Democrat side. That's what they believe all of the name calling is going to do, but I don't think it's working.
All right, so no name calling, but what should he do?
He should continue to talk about his agenda. He should continue to talk about his proposals, which he has done much more than Hillary has done, because he's been out on the campaign trail more. And so if he sticks to his agenda, talking about what he's going to do about the economy, what he's going to do about law enforcement, I support stop and frisk. And Rudy Giuliani did an excellent job on your show yesterday, laying out the fact that it is constitutional.
Right.
But that's the lie that they want to plant, and that is that it's not constitutional, to create confusion. So if Donald Trump sticks to his agenda and his proposals for the economy, for rebuilding the military, energy independence, on down the line, I think that's what he needs to do in order to get it home in November.
Herman, there's so many parallels between your candidacy and the Trump candidacy, his going all the way through, but you laid the groundwork with your business success. When they start going after him on his taxes and on how much he paid, what's the truth when you get to this level of income and this level of success? People will say, well, he doesn't pay any taxes, it's not going to resonate with people. But the truth is, at that level, the goal for every American is to pay as little taxes as possible, but do it legally.
Do it legally. And the other thing is, people don't believe that the tax code is fair. So I don't believe he's breaking in the rules, regardless of how much tax he is paying. And here's my advice to Donald Trump. I know he threw out a challenge to Hillary, that if you release those 33,000 deleted emails, I release my tax returns. Well, I would not release my tax returns if I were Donald Trump, and here's why. It will just give some nitpickers more opportunities to nitpick something to try to turn it into a big story in order to distract from the success that Donald Trump is having.
But it's already been a distraction, Herman.
Yes, because they keep bringing it up.
Right. And
that's all they have.
And sure, I mean, look at the last presidential race in 2012. You had Mitt Romney. You know, his accountants went through his income and they said, okay, given the fact that you're an investor, you're going to pay 15%. That's the law. And yet they were able to, on the political left, effectively say, look, he's not paying nearly as much taxes as you are.
That's what they are looking for. Anything in Donald Trump's tax returns to turn it into an anti-Trump message. This is why I wouldn't release my tax returns. He filled out a financial disclosure like all of the candidates have to do. I did it. I believe that gives them enough information. They are looking for something to turn into a story. That's why I wouldn't give it to them. Let them continue to complain about it.
Talk about looking for something to turn into a story. How about what Howard Dean did? Let me play what Donald Trump did at the debate, and then we're going to talk about the latest with Howard Dean.
Perhaps we'll be talking about that later. Hundreds of companies are doing this. They're the best ever at it.
So Donald Trump was sniffling, especially at the beginning of the debate. And this is what Howard Dean wrote on Twitter. Notice Trump sniffling all the time. Coke user with a question mark.
Well, that's crazy. Trump was on our show yesterday. He said he didn't have the sniffles. He didn't have allergies. He did not have a cold. And yet Howard Dean, you know, calling him a cokehead right there. Here's something Howard Dean said where he refused to apologize for saying such an outrageous thing.
Here's the deal.
Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
Not exactly the soundbite I was thinking of. He said, do I think at 70 years old he has a cocaine habit? Probably not. It's something I think it'd be interesting to ask him and see if he's ever had a problem with it. I don't think this is a ridiculous idea. Something funny was going on with Trump last night. This is the former head of the DNC calling somebody on the opposite side of the political spectrum somebody who's got a drug problem. That's outrageous.
How can Mr. I Have a Scream criticize somebody with a sniffle? And here's the other thing that's going on. They are so desperate that they throw stuff up on the wall to see what sticks. That's just another thing that they do it all the time. So he threw it out there. He didn't make a declarative statement. He just wants to plant some doubt in people's minds. Right. But here's the thing. It's not going to work. The basket of deplorables that Hillary talked about, they are getting stronger and stronger and stronger every time Hillary names calls or every time some Hillary supporters try to call names. That tactic is not working.
And we're going to find out, Herman, if indeed that is the case, because in a couple of days or maybe as early as tomorrow, we're going to see what the debate did to the numbers, because Donald Trump was surging. Remember that John Kerry erased a 7-point deficit to George Bush. Mitt Romney erased a 4-point deficit to Barack Obama after they won their debates. We'll see what happens now.
Yes.
What do you think needs to happen in the second debate?
The second debate, I believe that Donald Trump needs to, number one, pivot more to his policies and his proposals. In this first debate, some people may not have noticed that the questions to Trump were worded in order to put him on the defensive.
Sure.
So when you're trying to respond to a question when you're on the defensive, it's more difficult to take advantage of some of those other opportunities. But knowing this, I believe he's going to handle it even much better. Her questions were all softballs. His questions were all to put him on the defensive, and that's a distraction that I believe was an intention on the part of NBC.
All right. Thank you, Herman, for being with us this morning.